Hi, I'm Dr. Mauricio Cadavid, Senior Instructional Designer with Academic Technologies and Innovation. And in this video, I am going to quickly show you how to add content to your course. So when we talk about adding content, there are a couple of ways of doing it. There's different type of content that you can add to your course. You can, add your content as you wish on your left-hand side. You can actually create a content area. If you just wanted to give students readings, you can just simply create a plus sign, content area, and call that readings. So if you have a bunch of readings that you're going to give your students throughout the semester, you can put them there. Let's say that you also have content area that has to do with either websites or videos, and you just decide to group them together. Again, you can just simply come, content area, you can create a content area that is going to be just simply for those specific content items that you're going to give. In general, the way that we add content into Blackboard, we go to the content area that is already created for you, and then you will notice that the first options that you have is to build content. First things that you have, most of you are probably not going to use some of the tools that are available to you, but most commonly you're going to be adding an item. We're not going to be adding a file because in Blackboard, a file is limited to certain file types. And so if you have a particular file type that is not very common, Blackboard may reject it. Therefore, we are going to just simply use add an item. Let's say that this item for this particular example is the syllabus. And then you can just simply say, syllabus for fall 2020, and then class name. We always recommend a couple of things. One is try to be descriptive in the name of the file that you're going to create. Even if the name is descriptive, let's say in this case is syllabus, every student knows what a syllabus is supposed to be. Well, let's assume that you decided to do a lecture 1. The students don't really know what is in the lecture. So we use the text area to just simply say, this lecture contains, and then you can just simply say, chapters 1 and 2, comma, video on the lecture, etc. Remember, the most descriptive, the better, is always going to minimize confusion. Then you have the section of where you're actually going to add your content. You can go to cloud storage. In this case, if you have the OneDrive provided to the university, your Google Drive, maybe your personal Dropbox, or your Box account, what you can do is that you can link those accounts with Blackboard. And what you would be able to do is when you click on Google Drive, is just that when you are working at home or in your office or traveling, you can always have your content available to you, through your cloud accounts, and they just simply link them, through Blackboard. If you don't want to use that, you have the option of actually using the content collection, which is a repository area that Blackboard is going to give you access to for you to every file that you upload into Blackboard will be hosted here. So if you have in your computer a folder with all of your different files, even though you don't know which files you're going to share with the students or not, you can actually upload them into Blackboard. And then as you make the decisions moving forward, you can just come to your content collection, select the files that you need, and then move forward with that. The most common way is just simply clicking on browsing your computer. Now I'm gonna show you something really quick. I'm gonna click on browsing my computer. I have this particular file, which is going to be, it's a fake file, but it's a syllabus. Now, some of you will have non-conventional file names. In this case, this class file, right, is called art 1011 sec02 sil v2 final edit fall 20 docx, right? It makes sense to you because this is the way that you've, sort of conventionally created your files in your computer. But when you have a screen reader, for example, for a student that is, hard of hearing or blind and is trying to get the computer to read the name file, that's what it's going to sound. art10, or actually it's going to sound art1011 sec02 sil v2 final edit, right? It doesn't really make much sense to the student when they hear it. Blackboard allows you to give a your actual name, the display name. So this name, you can simply just call it, this is the syllabus for fall 2020 art class 10, 11, section 2. Students do not need to know that this is your version 2, that is the final edit of the version 2, etc. So you can actually do that, and we highly recommend it. Plus, we also like to get rid of this file name. If it's a PowerPoint, it's going to say PPTX. If it's an Excel file, if it is a Word document, etc. Next is allowing students to have your or actually access to the file. We always want to make this a yes, but we want to control when the students have access to it, or when Blackboard is going to give them access to it. Do not use the no, because this is a manual no, which means that you're going to have to remember when you're going to physically give students access to. You have to come into Blackboard and say yes, and then students will have it. If you leave it at no and then use a display time or date, Blackboard the time will come and the students will contact you and say, Professor, I do not see what you just shared with me. Where is it? And then you're going to think that it's Blackboard, when in actuality, which is a matter of telling Blackboard that on this date, at this time, the students have access to it. So I'm going to click yes, that displayed, and now I get my confirmation, that you're able to present that to the students. The other ways that you can add content, right, are going to be your audio, anything that is an MP3 song or your audio voice. Images, make sure that the images are going to have a description, right, of what the images are, to just make sure that they're accessible. And pretty much Blackboard is going to allow any image to display it, and you're going to be able to do it here. For videos, we highly recommend that you do not upload any videos that are more than 3 to 5 minutes. Obviously, we're not going to upload full live lecture videos, of more than an hour, because we have to also think about students' access to this information and where they're going to be able to see it. They may not have enough bandwidth or internet at home to be able to download the video or display it. And then web links, anytime that you're going to create a web link, for example, you're always going to have two options. The name of the link, do not put the URL here, the URL goes here. So this is where you can actually just put a link. In this case, I already had a link prepared, which was a video. Right? But we want to give it a descriptive name. So this video is about, and then you can describe it. If you just simply put the title of the video here, you can then use the description, describe video here. When we click on submit, you will notice that it is important to provide clear descriptions and clear names so that the students know exactly what the links are about. Finally, if you have any content that comes from a publisher, you can just simply click on partner content, you click on content market, and it's going to take you to all of the publishers, if you're using a publisher. If you encounter any difficulties with adding content through a publisher, you can do one of two things. You can contact the publisher directly, or that we are always here to assist you. If you have a favorite instructional designer, go ahead and send them an email. If not, you can just send an email to support@csusb.edu and then describe what it is that you need, which is content, uploading content from Content Partner. And that's it. You now have the basic information on how to be able to use your content in Blackboard.